What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 8 of 25 days of trading. I want to walk you through my trading plan as we head into 2026 and what kind of changes I might be making. But at the end of the day, I want to keep things as simple as possible. Now, my trading strategy is simple, so I also want my plan to be just as simple as well. So we'll touch on a few things here, just here on TradeZella, where I have my previous year's ones. But my assets that I trade, ES and Q. 2 years ago, even maybe a year ago, it would have just been ES. I've since added NQ. Time frames are consistent on just the 1 minute and 15 minute. The 15 minutes more just for analysis. My entries always come on the 1 minute, but at the end of the day, price is what pays. So don't think that the 1 minute is what makes you profitable. You could also watch it on the 2 minute or the 3 minute. I just want to get price at VWAP, right? So we'll get into some examples, but don't get hung up on the time frame as it's the end all be all. Now, trading hours, I don't stick to these exactly, but I trade every single morning on ASFX TV at the open. So if you guys want a free month of that, the link to that is down below. We'll do that until about 11:30. Look for trades for 2 hours. I mean, hopefully we found a winner. If not, it's been 2 hours of what? Chop. I'm still just going to call it a morning, take a break, go to lunch, go to the gym, and then maybe I'll come back at like 1 o'clock, 2:30, look for either another trade or somehow the first trade of the day. But I don't really want to be trading at 3 p.m. Eastern time with an hour left in the day. If the trades haven't been there yet, they're probably not going to show up today. It's just not the day. But I also try to limit myself to 1 to 2 trades. Could it be 3? Could it be 4? Of course it could. I just know for me personally, 1 to 2 is my sweet spot. If I'm ever trading 4 times, it's not normally because I'm 4 for 4 crushing it. It's because I've lost 1 or 2. I'm trying to bounce back, and the other 2 made it break even, right? Not that you can't go 4-0. Just normally if I'm on a great day, it's 1 and done, 2 wins, I'm out. Now, the risk as well that I'm trying to use, and this, again, changes with time, the accounts that you're trading. Right now with Top 1 Futures, they're running their sale with code EVAN. But I just try to do 10% of the drawdown, right? For that drawdown, a lot of the time it's $2,000 overall. So on the conservative side, it would be 10%. I would never do less than 10%. I will definitely do more, right? I just think just conservatively, $200, you got to lose 10 times before you lose that account in a row. So I think that's very conservative. You could probably even bump that up to 20 or 25. Now, the checklist side of things, we don't need to get into this. If you want to look real quick at last year's or 2 years ago's trading plan, I know you guys can't read this, but very in-depth. Similarly, if you look, I will be at the desk at 7 a.m. and looking for trades between 7:30 and 11:30. That's not happening anymore. What assets am I trading? Bitcoin's in there, SPX and NAS. I'm not even trading futures at this point, right? So just a whole lot of 90% off at 1R. Not doing that anymore. ADR, I don't watch that anymore. High day VWAP, I still watch that. December 2023. So this is old, clearly, but your plans should change as time goes on. So either way, let's go over the charts real quick and look at my plan when I just get to the desk, right? I have my full VWAP strategy available on ASFX TV. Like I said, if you guys want to join for your first month free, just use code FIRST. You also get access to my full strategy and the live streams where I'm taking the trades from it. But let's just go at the charts here, right? So I wake up, I'm looking at the 15 minute, right? I just want to see the big picture of what's happened overnight, right? So let's just look at this Tuesday. When I'm waking up on Wednesday, let's see where we're at. Let's put on our overnight VWAP and we'll turn that black. And again, my full strategy is broken down, so I'm not going to go into all of that. That one's in a different video, but just looking at it, I want to see, okay, overnight, because this hasn't happened yet, right? When I'm at the desk in the morning, buyers in control above this overnight VWAP. Okay, I could be liking longs here, right? This is at 8:30 in the morning, so no trading yet, no open yet, but okay, buyers are definitely looking like they're trying to hold in control here. And on the week, with Monday being kind of choppy, Tuesday was up, Wednesday's now starting up. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to favor some longs. But again, the open can come in and completely shift that bias. You see pre-market, we even had news come down. All right, but let's see what happens. Now, the next part of my checklist, right? This isn't going to be part of my strategy, just the checklist of my plan. I have to let the 15-minute opening range set. I don't find my best beautiful trades in the first 5-10 minutes. I'm better off letting the first 15 minutes shake out for the day, paint some structure, who's in control, give me a little bit of confidence on what direction I might want to be trading in, right? So you can see here we're on the 1 minute. Like I said, I'll drop down to the 1 minute for when it's time to execute trades and get my pricing, but the 15-minute holds good for just reading structure. Now today, this is at 9:46. The open range had just set pretty sideways, but no doubt more so bullish above that New York VWAP. So let's just keep taking this candle by candle. The next thing is going to be wait for an opening range break. Again, I can go over all this on TradeZella here. Check the 15-minute. Are we an inside bar day? That is if we haven't taken out the previous day's high or low. So before we go forward, let's check out the 15-minute one more time. And you'll see on this Wednesday, if you mark off yesterday's high in this pin here and the pin low down there, we're not outside it. Got very close to it here pre-market, but you can see it is an inside bar day. Now, is it the end of the world? No. But a clearer sign of trend would be we're an outside bar day. We took out yesterday's high, or we already took out yesterday's low. Some sort of sign of trend, because we closed bullish yesterday, and then since then we even moved higher. But we haven't yet. But it doesn't mean we can't trade, right? It just would be a little bit better if we were already out of it. What side of the overnight VWAP are we on? That's that black one I was talking about. We're going to let the opening range set, the 15-minute opening range. I also like to check out my edge reports. We also said wait for the first break of opening range, that one as well. So let's first go over to the 1 minute and go over that first break of opening range, right? So that's when the side is broken here in a pin. I don't want to chase it, but now let's see if we are going to be taking shorts. Now remember, I came into the day with a somewhat long bias because of the overnight action, how we are Monday and Tuesday. I don't think a lot of people speak about that enough on. I made videos that is a mistake, in my opinion, being too zoomed in here on this 1 minute for the next 16 minutes that we've had since the open. Yes, we're scalping, but I want to know the context of the week, of the trend, who's in control. So since Monday, it's now Wednesday, it's been more so buyers in control. So until I really get signs that sellers are taking back control, I'm going to keep on leaning long. Now, does sometimes sellers just step right in and I miss a move? Of course, but many times buyers step right back in and continue what they were doing, and I'm glad I kept with that long bias, right? So the first break of open range low comes to the bottom. Doesn't mean I'm just going to be selling shorts, right? So let's see what happens next. We go back up to the high. So it actually breaks the open range high. Now it's at least in line with my strategy, right, of not trying to fade the trend. But again, I don't chase breakouts, so I need to trade it off of this VWAP. Like I said, if you guys want more information on the full strategy, entry, exit, all of that beautiful stuff, it's down below. Futures 2.0 actually just did an update to it for you guys for Christmas. So we will go for a retest off this VWAP. So there's our break. Retest to this New York VWAP. Buyers are holding control. Let's throw in a nice long stop loss at the bottom of range. We're not going to be too scalpy with a tight stop loss right at current structure. We want to give it room to try to play around this New York as much as it may want. Right, this may not be the end of the pullback, but as long as it doesn't make a new low a day, I'm liking long still. So let's see if we can go make another new high. I should stretch this out. I don't trade 1R exactly, right? Sometimes I'll get 2, 3, 1.5, 0.8. I don't know. I'm just looking to trade to somewhere we've already been. So some cases it's going to be better risk reward, sometimes not. So I want to trade it back to the high of day because I know price can get up there already. I don't know if we can get up here. I'm hoping, but maybe not. I know we can at least, or have before today. So let me get it back up to there, right? So that's normally my first target. So in this case, I'd probably get out on this strong candle. And what would that be? 0.98. That's pretty much 1R. Goes against the point I was going to make that I normally don't even always get 1R. Let's say I got 0.8 out of it. Bagging green. Don't let this come back on you and turn into a loser just because you want to make the whole entire move, right? Because at some point, this trailing stop, at most, you would have gotten 1.2R out of it. But then where's your trailing stop along here, right? You're going to get tapped somewhere that's like, just get full in and full out. If I can get 4 candles all in the same direction with that speed and that move, I'm out, right? And with this opening range, going over my trading plan, I do like to use the edgeful reports, specifically the 15-minute opening range one. That if we go over here to edgeful, let's switch it on ES, which is what we are looking at, so that's good. On ES, they have gap fill reports, all these different kinds. Like I said, I like the opening range breakout. But another one I also take a look at is the initial balance one. That one's a little bit later in the day at 10:30. The initial balance is set. But you can see the odds that we double break the initial balance, right? And you can filter it by the size of the opening range we've had or the weekday. So you can see just standard 58% of the time we break both sides. So you look at this markup here. Let's just round it up to 60. There's a break to the bottom and a break to the high, right? So if I know 60% of the time we might want to double break, even more reason not to chase shorts after the first break because it might want to come up and also break the other, right? So I like to use that report in line with my trend reads and what side of the VWAP we're on, right? But at the end of the day, like I said, my full strategy is on here. We're going over my trading plan today. This isn't as in-depth as it could be or as it is actually, but like I said, all of this stuff is just boring. What do you do off the charts to push continuous growth? What's your diet like? What do you do on flat days to be productive? After you win your first trade, what do you do? They all are great questions. And for anyone that wants a trading plan, I'll just scroll up and you can screenshot it and ask yourself these questions if you want, because it's not a bad idea. But at the end of the day, I know my strategy. I know the VWAPs that I'm trading off of. I'm just reading trend, looking for pullbacks. Everything else is just keeping it simple, as in less indicators, less assets, less time frames, less time at the desk, right? I preferably would just do the 9:30 to 11:30. I don't want to trade for 8 hours. Less trades, 1 to 2. Drawdown, a little bit less. Be more conservative, so that way when you take a loss, it doesn't register as negatively because it's not a big size, right? So I think the less you could do, the better, but get really good at it on watching a few time frames on the same asset, watching these same VWAP bounces, right? This is just another trade that anytime this presents, since my plan isn't congesting my mind with all these different things I need to go through for my checklist, it's bullish structure, it's a bounce off VWAP, let's move higher. It's not that, it's very simple. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, thought about too much, and then get in their own way of managing it and costing yourself losers, right? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to ask any questions about a trading plan that you're building for yourself. You could adopt mine. Like I said, you could tune into ASFX TV every week and see how I'm trading, why I'm trading it. Like I said, all of it is broken down here in Futures 2.0. So check that out as well, and hopefully I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow morning.